Right away, though, it's kind of the elephant in the room, and we have a great question here from Dennis, which really kind of kicks off the conversation to today's webinar. But given what has happened in the landscape with COVID-19, what's the sort of general sense of anxiety and the uncertainty that you're hearing right now from our student athletes in each one of your areas? And to Dennis's point, none of us have gone through this before. None of you have gone through this before. Certainly, your student athletes. So, what do you sense is the level of anxiety, and how do you try to progress through that, knowing that we're all kind of walking this journey together?
I think you hit the nail on the head, Kurt. We're all walking through it together. So the sense of the anxiety is common for student athletes, non-student athletes, staff members, coaches. It is all of us right now that's being impacted by it. I think the thing to do in these difficult times is simply conduct business as normal, to whatever that may mean. Granted, this is now being a new normal being constructed. I think that we make decisions based on the information that we have. So as new information come out, we just simply be flexible and adjust to whatever that is. Right now, for us, it's just rest assuring that we will have courses that are going to be offered. It's important to be able to select courses that are going to be degree applicable. It's important for us to still set up tutoring and mentoring appointments for our students, just as if they were still here physically. So that's what we're doing to try to minimize some of the anxiety that folks might have and try to add clarity to some of the uncertainty too. So.
That's a great question. From my perspective, I'm looking at it, our team is looking at it from a two approach. One is our students, right? We want our students to have some type of experience each year that they're here at Michigan. And we know that works for them when they graduate, because those experiences are what employers and companies and corporations are looking for. So the anxiety of the students, do I have an internship? Can I get an internship? Will my internship be rescinded? What's the state of recruiting? So those are open questions, right? Open-ended questions. And our second piece of that is working with our employers. So my employee relations coordinator, Cody Riffle, is doing a great job at reaching out to our corporate partners. We have about 500, between 500 and 550 corporate partners. And we're asking them based off industry, what are the changes? What are the new norms? And it really is industry specific. Some industries, for example, Ford, they're still hiring, right? They're still doing, but we're shifting to a virtual platform. So now we're doing virtual internships. We're doing consulting. Understanding consulting is one of those top industries out there in the last 3 years. And we've kind of been preparing our students for this as far as our consulting, as far as doing virtual, not knowing that this was going to happen. So we are trying to balance. We're kind of in the middle. We're balancing the anxiety and the stress of the students and also the unstable platform of industry. But we're continuing to connect with our industry leaders, and they're keeping us up to date on the different trends and what's happening.
I think that's a great question. I think that the number one thing that we did was we reached out to our student athletes, and we have a group of student athlete ambassadors. We talked to them about, okay, what are people feeling and how are they dealing with this right now? And so we put out a survey, and they gave us feedback about how they are feeling. And so we want to have that empathy as we approach them and help them in this process. And so what they did talk about is what are ways that we can give back to the community. And so today, we have a group of student athletes that are reading on Instagram Live kids' books for parents that may have kids, or they're going to have kids at home, right? We're doing thank-a-thons, in a sense, with our student athletes going forward. And so we're listening to them and saying, okay, how can we take this anxiety that you're feeling with certain things that you're going through, and how can we make this work for you? At the same time, we've got programming that's going on that we have a number of kids that want to work on personal development right now. So I'm having interviews, or not interviews, but I'm doing Skyping, video chatting with our student athletes. So again, at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is all of us within Michigan Athletics are really being empathetic to what our student athletes are going through right now, and helping them the way they want to be helped.
I think those are all great things. And BT, my son, is all over this Instagram thing today. He's going to be following all these stories. So as you know, it's actually Ann Arbor Public Schools. It's spring break week this week anyway. So we had kind of carved up what we were going to be doing on the home teaching front, but we're trying to pull it back now into doing some reading. We have, thinking about and thinking about in my own household, the anxiety, the uncertainty. I think those things manifest themselves in different ways with different people, and obviously there's uncertainty regarding the competitive realm. When am I going to get to play my sport again? How have each one of you seen that kind of surface in your specific fields? Does it carry over? Are our student athletes able to kind of keep that in a silo and then keep their other responsibilities and interests alive, or does one affect the other?
Well, I can say that I'm working with 3 teams right now, and we do virtual learning with them. But one of the questions I asked to start off our meetings is, what has been the biggest challenge for you with this, and what are some of the unexpected positives of this? And they're all say, for the most part, is training the way that they want to train without being able to go in. So then what we talk about is, again, those 3 buckets. We talk about 3 buckets all the time. Is what can you control? What can you influence? And then the third thing is what's out of your control. And so they're doing a good job of finding ways to connect with one another. They're doing a good job of also being creative at this time. And so they're at the point where they understand it is what it is and everyone else is going through this, but they're trying to make the positive out of this and be able to grow from it.
I think that's a great point. And so we're challenging, we created a virtual workshop series, and we're working with individual teams. Yesterday, I was working with our men's soccer team and giving them assignments. So instead of them competing on the field of play, now I'm challenging them to reach out to 10 new contacts, create those informational interviews. The goal is for our students to come out of this, be at the ready line and professionally and personally are better than they were going in. We know when it's the norm, they have a lot on their plate, right? They're pulled in many different directions. I think this is the time I spoke to one of our swimmers, and she said, I was training for the Olympics, but this is the first time in years that I'm not swimming. And I thought, man, and that's not a good thing, right? She said, no, it's great because I'm healing my body. I'm able to take care of the things professionally and personally that I would not have had the time to do it. So, in these workshop series we have every Friday. Another thing is we talk to our students about the plus, as BT mentioned, what are the positives in this? And 2 of the positive on a employer standpoint is the recruiters are at home, right? And so when students reach out to them, they're not on the road recruiting. They have their undivided attention because they're on devices such as this. So our students can get to them too. The companies and industries are trying to figure it out. So everybody's kind of back to ground zero, so to speak, right? And so it gives our students the equal playing field. A young man said to me yesterday, if I don't get a job by May in finance, I'm in trouble. I said, no, those timetables now are off the table, right? Now you have an opportunity to get ready. As the companies and corporations and industries are getting ready, you have an opportunity to some catch-up time for our kids. And so we see them being excited, definitely excited about our soccer team yesterday. I gave them homework a couple of weeks ago, and all of them were sharing, what they learned from different people in different spaces and industries. But they were like, I can't believe that I actually can get a hold of these people. So, there's some positives here. It gives our students enough time to really, I call it in the military, blue themselves. Right, get back to who they are without any of the distractions, and really come out on the other side of this.
I think those are great options. I think for us, what we can do is remind people about the things that they do have. So have some sort of grace and some appreciation. And I think the biggest part of that too is recognizing how you still can be of assistance to others. So that community engagement piece. So we've still been along those same lines too.